Thank you so much, Dr. Lau, for your question, and special thanks to Dawn Group for the invitation and the opportunity to engage with so many important stakeholders in this very important discussion. So I'm a pulmonologist, and obviously my main concern is taking care of patients and people who have lung disease. So when I first started working in Pakistan about 8 years ago, I was really surprised with some of the things that I was seeing. We know, as you mentioned in your speech, about asthma and chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. These are some of the common chronic respiratory diseases that patients all around the world face. But in Pakistan, I was surprised to see that the rate at which we are seeing COPD in particular was rising very quickly. And also, I was surprised to see that it's so common amongst women. I'm surprised because my training in the UK was that COPD is caused by smoking, and smoking rates are not that high in women in Pakistan. They're probably higher than the figures because some ladies are smoking but they don't like to talk about it. But certainly it was surprising to see a lot of rural women were coming into the clinic and complaining of shortness of breath, wheeze, cough, sputum production, and this is an irreversible progressive disease. So when we did the lung function tests, we found that they actually have irreversible obstruction of their lungs and they have COPD. And it came to me after a few weeks that the most common factor amongst them was that they were using biomass to cook their foods in poorly ventilated homes with the same biomass fuels, wood, etc., to heat their homes in the winter. So I think what I wanted to highlight is that, this is a disease pattern that we were seeing because of indoor air pollution even before it became vogue to talk about ambient air pollution in Pakistan, because that's in the last few years. Before that as well, there's a silent killer that was affecting people here. We've put up some lung function testing in a lot of different primary care centers that Indus Hospital and Health Network is running throughout the country, and finding that patients who are referred to us because they have respiratory symptoms, about 60% of them have asthma or COPD. So that's really a considerable number in terms of percentage. So there's a huge burden of just respiratory disease because of air pollution. But I must mention that it's not just respiratory disease. As you said, it goes beyond the lungs. It makes you more likely to have heart attacks, makes you more likely to have a stroke. It affects your mental health. So there are lots of health-related issues combined and associated with air pollution.
Thank you, Dr. Saima. Now I move very fast. Time is late. I move to ask a UNICEF rep regarding the joint report of Clean Air Helps Children made by WHO. UNICEF will launch together in the 14th of October. Pania.
Thank you, Dr. Dapeng. Pleasure to be with all of you, and indeed this is a crucial conversation that we all need to be engaged with actively, and thank you again to Dawn for bringing us, all of us together around this subject. We've been hearing that air pollution is a direct preventable killer, and what I'm here to say is that children are uniquely vulnerable to air pollution. In fact, air pollution has become now the #2 killer worldwide of children under the age of 5. And Pakistan is one of the most highly polluted countries. That means the children living in Pakistan, including mine, including yours, are all vulnerable to air pollution. Have you ever held in your arms a little baby and noticed how fast they are breathing, how quickly their heartbeat is beating? That gives you a sense as to if they're tiny little bodies and lungs are being filled with toxic air, what effect that might be having on their bodies. We've just heard from Dr. Saima about these effects on respiration, but even before birth, it increases the likelihood of stillbirth. It increases the likelihood of premature births, let alone the impact of respiratory diseases, asthma, pneumonia, bronchitis, and much more chronic things also, as we've just heard. This is now the reality for millions of children living across Pakistan. 4 years ago, there were 68,000 children in Pakistan who died, recorded, of air pollution. That's 8 children every hour dying of air pollution. Think about that in daily terms. Don't be numb to those statistics. These are real lives and real families who are being affected permanently. And that's not to mention all of the thousands of children who are affected by illness and who don't succumb to them. Yeah? These are staggering numbers. 10% of the total number of child deaths under 5 due to air pollution are in this country. These numbers are 4 years old, and they're not going down at the moment. They will not go down until there is decisive action that's taken. And there are solutions. We've been hearing about them. It requires investment, decision-making, and concerted action. Yeah? The air pollution is not just affecting children's health. We've also seen how it's affecting children's education. Huh? How many days and weeks over the last year were children forced to learn at home and remain out of school due to the quality of air? It was weeks. Weeks. Imagine the cumulative effect. It's not just the effect on the quality of education and their ability to learn, but it also has a psychological impact and a social one, because children learn best when they are together with others. That is, there is evidence backing that. But it goes deeper than that. Children's brains perform best and learn best when they are unclouded by polluted air. Yeah? Children are reporting suffering from headaches and other kinds of respiratory illnesses that are directly impacting their learning. So what we are saying is that this is impacting not only their health, but their mental health and their ability to learn. And one more point. This crisis is even deeper for those children who are coming from poor communities, who are the most marginalized. They're often near highways, brick kilns, industrial zones, using biomass, like the firewood, the coal, the dung, for cooking, which means that they're facing even greater exposure and the least protection. Clean air should not be a privilege for the few. It's a fundamental right for all and every child. So that's why I'm here to put forward to you that this is also a child rights crisis. It's about the future potential. It's about now and their survival, as well as the future potential of a nation, because nations are built by children, ultimately. Thank you.